We have a couple callers, so I actually want to get to those real quick. Stop it. Um, by the way, your nose laugh snort sounds exactly like the fart sound effect I have for my clumps. It's almost exactly.
I
Yeah,
can't do it when I'm not laughing for real.
I know. I would never ask you to fake it.
Thank you.
So yes, exactly.
Moon
So
River.
the I guess the one of the primary ones is that the Johnson and Johnson vaccine, which is a one and done, has been the pause has been lifted and it is being approved for usage again. There were 15 total cases about this blood clot. It is a treatable thing. I think a lot of us, when we heard blood clot related to this, that it was either a permanent change, a change that kills you, or something along the lines of a stroke from a brain standpoint, and apparently that is not the case. So it is a treatable thing, which means they just have to monitor some people who might be susceptible to this. In I believe 8 million doses. Is that what it was? Yeah, 8 million doses. There were 15 cases. Most of them, the label notes that most cases of the clotting disorder have occurred in women between the ages of 18 and 49. So if you're between the ages of 18 and 49, I have my girlfriend who falls in that age range. Out of deference to her and my love for her, I will not tell you where in that range she is, because she might punch me in the head. She had Pfizer, as did I, and not only no side effects, but we didn't even feel, the couple of days of misery or headaches or any of that kind of stuff at all. That I have friends who've had it, but that we didn't experience any of those things. Initially, 6 women had developed severe disorders from this, out of the 8 million. There are lots of reasons, by the way, that you can get those blood clots. And women in that age range are also more apt to get them. So whether this is a causation or correlation thing, it was not known, and that's what the pause
Right.
was for. I don't know that it is clearer that it is caused versus correlated, because it's so rare. You could hardly argue that in 8 million people, something that happens to 15 million people who've had the same experience as 8 million other people, that true causation is there, unless you have a direct linkage and you know that, oh, it's a genetic thing, it's related to blood type and body and blood pH level or something, where you can directly tie it, where those elements were the factor in the age range and the hormonal thing. That's a lot of factors to squeeze out of 15 people in terms of 8 million other people who have it. So the panel voted 10-4 to resume the use of the vaccine with a warning label. Now, I don't know if they voted 10-4 for the warning label or to use it again, and it passed 10-4 if it had a warning label. That's not clear from the article or anything that I've read. So there's a variance, as there often is. There are 3 variable possibilities in this. That they voted 10-4 to reissue it, they included a warning label, they voted 10-4 to include the warning label, or they voted 10-4 and it only passed because they included a warning label. They couldn't get 10-4 unless they included the warning label, right? So those are the possibilities. That's I'm sure there are other ones I'm not thinking of currently, but those are there. But some of the panel voters who voted no, members who voted no, wanted a more prominent risk about women, younger women, age 18 to 49, on the warning label, and the availability of other COVID vaccines that do not appear to pose the same risk. So they voted no about doing that. They wanted more of a warning label than the one that was on there. That said, they still voted for its general use everywhere else. And I think, and I'm curious what, maybe we'll learn over the next couple of weeks, if women in that age range are leaning more towards, say, Pfizer or Moderna in getting it. The interesting thing is, curiously enough, is that in terms of what the breakdown is male to female in people who are getting the vaccine, and this might line up with the sense that women are more responsible and men would rather get things over with. is the idea that men tend to lean more towards getting the J&J, one and done. Sounds like a bumper sticker on a truck in that regard. And women tend to be more like, well, I'll get this I'm capable of making 2 appointments and being at both of them. So they're comfortable signing up for and getting the Pfizer and Moderna, even though that requires you to remember where you've got to be in 3 weeks.
Yep.
So there is there is reasoning behind that women, even in that age range that might be concerning, will be more apt to do that. So let's grab. I think we got time at least for one of the callers. So let's try to grab this on our way out the door, just as a happy ending on that one thing. But I wanted to talk about that and those women that should be informed about this. Like I said, my girlfriend got the Pfizer vaccine. She is in that age range, and she had no negative experiences except for a little site soreness. So that's anecdotal. Take that with take that as you will. Yes. But who do we have first on the line?
We have David from North Miami Beach.
Oh, right on, David. Now you're in Florida as well. We're both live from Florida. Hey, David. Is he there? I don't hear him.
I guess not. Let's go to Dondo from Pennsylvania.
All right. Dondo in Pennsylvania. Hey, Dondo, welcome. Oh, wait. Is it Gonzo?
Oh, it's Gonzo.
Yeah, it's Gonzo. That's what I thought. I was like, Dondo.
I like Gonzo
Hooray. Yes. Gonzo, Dondo is your sidekick. Apparently, it's your half human, half bulldog sidekick that fights crime with you. So,
hey, what's going on?
Hi. You doing well?
I'm well. I just took a break. Anyway.
Understood.
Hey, I got the Arizona thing. I wanted to chime in on too.
Yeah.
The Arizona thing. Even if they were to 10,500 votes to flip those, it doesn't flip the election. They still need like 3 other states.
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything in the overall election.
Yeah, not only won't it work, but it won't work.
Right.
Yeah.
It won't work. It's ridiculous.
Right.
And so I wanted to point out Herschel Walker is really thinking about running in Georgia and has Trump's backing.
Right.
I didn't know if you knew that.
Yes.
But that's really becoming a prominent thing, and Republicans are kind of getting scared because he doesn't seem to really have much of a chance because he's really not very qualified to do it. And then the other thing I wanted to ask you about, and this was probably the most important thing, is that I was wanting to get your opinion on, was the vote on D.C. becoming the state that they had this week.
Right.
And how they have basically 170,000 more citizens than Wyoming, and why wouldn't the Senate approve them if they're citizens paying taxes? Is it just because of them being racist towards it? That's what the article I read.
Well, there's always this feeling. As Chris Rock refers to DC as Chocolate City, there's a reason why Republicans fear the idea that DC will suddenly automatically become another 2 Democratic Senate seats. And here's the problem. The Republicans currently have a lopsided representation in the Senate. Because red states like Wyoming and Montana and Idaho that have fewer people, Los Angeles has just Los Angeles proper, the actual city, not even the county. The city itself has 3 times as many people as Montana does, and so and LA doesn't have 2 senators representing that landmass, and the amount of it's the 7th largest economy on earth. DC, here's the issue with DC. DC, beyond the fact that it used to be part of Maryland and that it was carved off as part of to be the capital of the country, not an actual not a city of note in that regard. It was a support structure for the government. Was the idea that if you made it a state, because the government is there, that's too much federal control over those 2 Senate seats, was sort of the fear of the founding fathers in that regard. And so it became a District of Columbia. It was left up to God, one of the deities in some ways. And so it's its own kind of legal entity. The current Republicans,
But
yeah, they're afraid of black people getting 2 senators.
But they were also not supposed to have anybody supposed to live within in the District of Columbia.
Right.
You weren't supposed to have any residency.
Right.
And that changed.
Yes.
So all these people that actually live there and pay taxes there now are basically falling under that whole taxation without representation.
Yeah,
So,
on a fed except
basically-
except on a I mean, there's a bunch of back and forth about that because they also benefit from the taxes of other people in a way that we don't. Like if you and I want a road that needs to be repaired, for example, in our state, our representatives have to go and fight for that, and we'll give all the tax dollars we want, but we may not even get that. DC gets everything it wants as far as infrastructure goes, or any of those things, because it houses the conduit from the Capitol skiffs to the Pentagon, right? So there is no substructure of it that's denied on a taxation level. So they get benefits without that representation that other people don't. So they don't have to clamor for it the way we do. There's no farm bill that affects Washington, D.C. It is beyond those kind of things, right? So it's not going to pass the Senate.
I don't see any of that changing.
Right. It's not going to pass the Senate.
I don't see any of that changing with it becoming a state. Because all those politicians are still going to go in and out of D.C.
Right.
And they're still going to want all those perfect roads. They're not going to want to drive on bumpy roads.
Agreed. So the idea is that it basically just becomes a social policy senator seat in that regard. So that's why they're pushing back against it. My issue with DC becoming a state ultimately is because it is effectively a city. It is ridiculous. I think the opposite should be true. I think Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, and Arkansas arguably should all share 2 senators to make it fair, as opposed to adding DC. But I also believe that we have more of a chance of Puerto Rico becoming a state. I think that's easier to ratify as a territory. It is much closer to what happened with Hawaii, and I think the Republicans will push back against it, but we are paying all that. It is a territory of the United States that is highly populated, that has a lot of international travel and national travel back and forth to it. There's certain benefits, but you don't get any representation in that regard, except you get House representation, but no senators. I think that's DC might be the warning shot, and Puerto Rico is the actual bill that gets passed. We're out of time. I overran the break. Thanks so much for calling, Gonzo. Hope you're well. Wish your wife love for me. I know she's a teacher, and I hope she's safe in her work. And thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next time. And sorry I ran over. And okay, bye.